So I realized today that I can remember exactly the first time I felt fat or worried about being fat. Not necessarily that I thought I was, but I realized that it was a possibility that people perceived me as being fat. I was in 8th grade. I was lucky I was as old as 8th grade. It happens a lot younger for a lot of girls. But I was in 8th grade, and at a family reunion in Wisconsin. It was warm enough for us to just run around in bathing suits. And so I spent the entire 3 weeks or something. Maybe it was less, it seemed like a long time, but I spent a long time, the entire time we were there, in my bathing suit. It was my first two-piece bathing suit, and I never um, I never covered up really. I only wore clothing if we went to town. Um, and yeah, and that was really the last time that I ever spent in my bathing suit, not without a care in the world. No cares. I didn't care, if I was walking and my butt was jiggling. I didn't care about anything. I was just walking around in my bathing suit, no cover-ups. So, um, one of my only girl cousins. Actually, she's not even my cousin. She was married into the family, and I had just met her. Asked me how I could feel so comfortable in just my bathing suit. And I was like, I don't know. It's a comfy bathing suit. I thought she was talking about how I could find a bathing suit that fit me comfortably. I don't know. And I was like, oh, well, I'm comfy, whatever. It's warm out, so. And she said, no, no, no. How do you feel so comfortable walking around without any clothes to cover up or anything? I'm worried about my fat rolls hanging out. And even then, that didn't really. That's not what did it. I kind of thought about that. I was like, well, that's silly. We're all just cousins here. It's not like we're trying to impress anybody. Maybe she was because she was married into the family, and so she wasn't related to any of us. I don't know. Maybe she did have some crushes on my cousins, but um, I don't know. So I figured, well, we're all here with family. Doesn't matter anyway. But what did it was after the family reunion, I went to I was my mom and I came home, and I was in my room trying on some clothes or something. I know I was looking in the mirror when I was talking to my mom. And I said, can you believe cousin so-and-so said this? It's so weird. I don't know what she's talking about. And I told my mom about what she said, and my mom said, well, I'm so proud of you for being just comfortable with your body no matter what you look like. She said, and this is what got me. I feel bad. I'm not blaming my mom at all, but it really is what triggered everything. She said, I'm so proud of you for going past how you look and just not caring what you look like. Um, when you were a kid, people told me you were fat because your inner thighs touched. But I knew you weren't fat. It was just genetics, you know. Not everybody has thighs that don't touch. You've always been a skinny kid, and but your thighs touch and you're still skinny. And I was like, really? People think you're fat if your thighs touch? Yeah, yeah, well, that's what people say, but obviously not because you're skinny. But, I mean, she was calling me skinny when she said that. But at the same time, she was saying that other people saw me as fat. And so that became my first obsession. I was happy with everything but my thighs. And every year it kind of just added on, added. First it was my thighs, then I didn't like my hips, then I didn't like my, yeah, just everything. And now I'm not happy with anything. Um, yeah. So I just remembered that. I completely forgot. I'm just glad I was lucky enough to lose my innocence at such a late age. I was in 8th grade. I think that's because I went to a private school. So God, I was so carefree before that. And just like that, just all of a sudden, my whole world changed. Everything. I was completely carefree, just very happy with my body, just didn't even think of whether or not I was happy with my body. Just everything was fine. And in that instant, just, it's insane how quickly things changed and how quickly I lost my innocence of how I felt about myself and how I saw myself and how I thought about people thinking about me. It's just mind-blowing. Anyway, I'm sure you guys all have stories too, so leave some comments or make a video response or something. Tell me how you lost your innocence of feeling good about yourself and all of a sudden you realize that maybe you're not perfect. Or maybe you're not perceived to be perfect, even though you are. We're all perfect. We all look fine. It doesn't matter. It's, you know what I mean. Anyway, there's my story.